Hello and welcome to Sadhana and Books. I might sound a little bit more excited because I have two of my friends, two of my Sadhana leaders joining me today, and we're going to talk about what it means for us to do sadhana every day. How has doing sadhana early in the morning affected us, changed us? How it what contribution it brought into our life, and yeah, and in general about kundalini yoga practice and any other spiritual practice, because I know you guys do all kinds of other things too as well, so we can go into that. But first, I actually looked up what does sadhana mean, the word, and it comes from Sanskrit. Sad means something that gets you to the goal. And in its root, sadhana can be anything. Wherever you want to go, sadhana will take you there. So if your sadhana has to do with living life, that's called like karma. You're creating karma. And if your sadhana has to do with maybe practicing spiritual discipline, that it will get you there. It will get you to spiritual understanding. Or it can be sadhana can be it's kind of like a practice, right? So if you want to be a better actor, you're going to be practicing acting. If you want to be better piano player, you're going to practice piano playing. So this is exactly what sadhana is. It's a practice that gets you the quickest way to your goal. So we are practicing spiritual sadhana, and it definitely gets me, I feel like, into a deeper understanding of life. And we also do it, and you guys know, but I'm just explaining to others if they want to join us. We do it every morning at 5:45 Eastern time, just before the sunrise, and then throughout the sadhana, the sun comes out and we see it. So it's a very special time of the day where we can tune in to that spiritual frequency, where the whole world is a little bit quiet and maybe everybody in the house is still sleeping, and you can go deeper into yourself. So that's just my little spiel at the beginning.
Yeah. It's very different in the morning. I still practice with you guys because I love joining you guys, but doing it at 10:45 is not the same. You feel
Yeah.
like a warrior, and I feel like it's such a magical time to see the sunrise and be up before the sunrise too. It's so, your meditation is deeper. And yeah, that's it. It's like everything else is quiet. So you're not going to get disturbed. You're very unlikely to get disturbed anyway. Because that's it. Most people are sleeping, and yeah.
And it's much harder, right? So Alice usually
Yeah.
practices with us in the morning, but because now you are in England,
Yeah.
it's you still want to join us, which is absolutely fantastic, but I'm
Yeah.
sure it is harder.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I love the connection that we have, even though we've never met. We're all on Zoom. Some of us, we don't see the faces. But it's nice, you know, we know we've done it together so much, and I don't know, it's like a connection there. And yeah, I feel I've said it before, like I feel like I've spent some time with some friends. It's just a nice way to start the day. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And even though, like, as you said, we haven't met, we don't even talk that much, but it's like a spiritual understanding on another level.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I've known you for years and years.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I definitely agree with that. I think there's this soul connection that happens, and it's so interesting to me because in a lot of the teachers that I've had throughout my life, one thing that I've held on to very, very dearly is the idea that there are no accidents. We all come together, and it's so meant for us to be together in this moment. And you're right. We don't necessarily chit chat like during the sadhana, but I feel this connection to both of you and to everyone that joins. There's a sense of knowingness that's
Yeah,
beautiful and pure that that really touches my heart when we practice. I really value that so much.
yeah, yeah. That's why I'm still doing it, even though even though it's not the same effect. Well, you know, and yeah,
Yeah. Oh, you said it beautifully, Veronica. Yeah, it's like we are on a similar frequency. We understand each other's frequency because of the practice, right? It's like
mm,
when we are doing like all of these heart opening things, it's like you feel it, you feel that expansion. And I know that you guys feel the same way then, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Even though we're not in the same space, we're not sharing each other's energy fields,
Yeah.
which is nice to do. Like I was hoping before you started this seat, I was like, I wish I could practice sadhana with people because I missed it from Montreal. I'd get up and go and do it with other people, and you know, you like uplift each other. But yeah, I don't know. The future is on the
Yeah.
web, and it still works. Yeah, even
It
if we don't
still
meet.
works.
Yeah, it still works.
I am amazed by that too, even though I understand, it's
Yeah,
the computers are not the healthiest habit, but and I know some people are like, oh, I don't want to be on a computer early in the morning, but
it's not the same. Yeah, it to me, it's like it's not being on the computer; it's being with friends.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
so yeah, let's share a little bit about how did you get to Kundalini yoga, and even enlarge in on a spiritual journey in your life.
Are you going first, or
Oh, do you want me to start? I can start. Yeah.
if you want to? I don't know.
So I think for me, probably similar to a lot of people, was during periods of stress, like work and just feeling very bogged down with the day to day and feeling a sense that there has to be more. So I always practiced, some version of yoga, whether it was through, and I'm going to date myself here, VHS tapes and things
I
like that.
do.
Yeah, and I couldn't afford really to engage in a practice till much later in my life until I was close to 40, really, a regular practice. So when I joined a studio, I started with the, vinyasa, the strong flows, but I remember taking my first Kundalini class with my teacher, Lisa Broderick, and I remember feeling like, whoa, this is not only different, this feels like I felt just in this space of just love and grace, just a lot of grace. And I was so touched by that. And I remember one time, or not one time, a lot had happened with gongs, like just using a gong at the end. And I could feel like almost a rewiring in my mind, a healing. It was like my mind was being healed. And the practice itself was just very transformative. And I also practice another practice that I do is Jiva Mukti Yoga, and I did take my teacher training through Jiva Mukti Yoga. But in both cases, it's because of the fact that I feel at least the emphasis is one of the emphasis, I don't know, is that being in the energetic body, feeling the lifting up, feeling uplifted, not just physically, but almost it just as your aura, your energy, everything is being uplifted, opened. And I really, with Kundalini Yoga too, I really felt very connected to the teachings because of the fact that I practice Reiki as well and teach Reiki. And I feel that there is a connection with both as well as spiritual practices. So for me, it went from a very physical practice to a very spiritual path and practice for myself. And that is something that I think I think it's a very common story, maybe for a lot of people. You go in because of the physical aspects and benefits, and then all of a sudden you're like, no, this is about what life is and what it means, and being on your path and understanding that you have a path to be on. I hope that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. Yeah.
And sometimes it like surprises you, right? Like, I wasn't looking for that, but I'm so glad I found it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't looking to have a better life or a healthier life. I just wanted to have like a feel fit in my body. And all of a sudden, oh, that's where I am. It's great. I love it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about
Um,
you, Alice?
yeah, for me, I started yoga because I wanted to get in shape and maybe lose a little bit of weight. And I did the videos and got some books and stuff like that. But it was just like at one point in my life, I was in between things and I went to a cafe and I found a flyer for teacher training. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'd never done kundalini yoga before. I had no idea what I was getting into.
Wow.
So I was like, can I really teach that? It's kind of weird. um, but yeah, and then I got into hatha yoga because I wanted to, I just jumped right in. And it's like I thought I needed more training. But to me, kundalini is the most powerful. It just like it gets you there. Um, and that's why I love that we get to practice together because it makes me do it every day. Because that's it. It's like, okay, you set yourself up for a 40-day practice or however many days, and then you miss one. And then you kind of lose your momentum. And then, maybe, if more than one day goes by, maybe one day is not so bad, but it depends on where you are in there. But um, yeah. I
Yeah.
I need that. I need you guys to keep me on track. Thank you.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
really
I've been on and off so much, and to me, it's like if I have a strong practice or even just a short practice. I mean, we only do it like an hour, right? Um, Everything is smoother.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, that's why I wanted a sadhana practice, like an early morning one, because to me, every time I practice sadhana early in the morning, it's like the day was just magical and blissful. No matter what happened, it was just like, doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah, well, that's definitely true. And that's why I keep coming. And that's why I don't want to stop with sadhana, even though on my own, it was harder to go as long for like an hour or 2 hours. So I would just do on my own, sometimes, 20, 30 minutes. But still, I always make sure that I have to do it because you could feel it on the way your day went. And
Yeah,
even now, this is kind of cool that I go through my day, and when I make a mistake, I see it clearly that, oh my gosh, this was a mistake. I shouldn't have done it. Maybe other people didn't even see it, but to me, I saw it. And that's a kind of a spiritual progress, right? To see yourself in your own eyes. Lots of times we go kind of blindly through life, not even realizing how we might be harming others or ourselves. But with the practice, even it's rare, right? Now with sadhana, I know that I'm going to make less mistakes, that the day is going to go smoothly, that I'm going to be more aware. Um, but also, I'm going to be able to see where I'm going wrong and maybe catch myself early so that I don't repeat those mistakes. And that's huge, but it's so valuable. And also, I want to mention, I think that when we practice, we also help others, right? Like we can, and that was always at the end of Japji, that with your presence, you're gonna help carry others
yeah,
to wherever it is as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
And
I
you don't have,
love that. Yeah, I kind of miss doing japji. Maybe
Yeah.
we can have that here. Or some recitation of something. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll
Yeah,
share my story with you guys as
yeah,
well,
I was
because I
gonna
don't
say
think
I love
I
the story. Yeah.
um yeah, I was kind of similar to both of you. I was like back when not VHS but DVDs. And I think Netflix was still sending out DVDs back at that time.
Yeah.
um, because my friend started doing yoga, and I was like, and I was a dancer my whole life, and I thought yoga, it's like, for someone, I just, it's like a low level of activity. That's what I thought.
Mm.
But she started it, so I was like, okay, I haven't been dancing for a while, so maybe I'll do yoga now. And I did a few DVDs, and I was like looking for, wanted to try different types of yoga. And then in the description of Kundalini yoga, it said that it's rhythmic and that it's like a repetitive exercise. I was like, yeah, that's what I want. I don't want like just long breaths and. So I tried it, and from like the Om Namo Gurudev Namo, it was Guru Mukh DVD. From
Mm.
Om Namo Gurudev Namo, I was like, I love it. This is what yoga should be. This is what I was looking for my whole life without even knowing I was looking for it. So I kept on practicing with the DVDs, and I discovered Raviana DVDs. Uh, and I did it for a while, and I did it so religiously. I felt so in love with it. I was giving out people DVDs for Christmas of Kundalini yoga. I don't know if anybody, maybe they practiced it, but um, and then there was a voice that said, you live in New York City. I'm sure there are Kundalini classes around. You should go and try some. I was like, wow, I never been to yoga class. I don't know even like how to go about it. What happens? How do I sign up? So I did research, and I found Kundalini East. That was the first studio I went to, and then I I did further search, and I found very good reviews about this teacher called Kaar, and she was in Golden Bridge at that time. So I went there, and I just stayed with her, did a teacher training with her, and yeah, did a lot of training with her.
Nice.
And like 6 months later, after I started practicing yoga, I signed up for teacher training. So yeah. And before that, I was like, I saw a poster, like you said, Alice, and I was like, who wants to be a yoga teacher? What kind of career is that? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then a month later, I was the one signing up for it because I wanted, and not so much because I wanted to be yoga teacher, but because I was like, I need to know more. I need to
Yeah.
be in this energy, and I need to know more.
Yeah.
But I
And it
did
feels like you're
become,
just constantly learning, right? There's so much in there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's like you join a current, and then you just flow with that current, and it's taking you somewhere
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
The current of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. Um, So let's talk about this sadhana, because we are practicing kriya for radiance and long ekonkaras, which is so powerful. Uh, Anything that you notice during this? I think we are on a day. We are like on after 30th day. I think
Okay.
it's the 21st. Gonna be. Oh my goodness, we have a few days left. See, this is, yeah, this is what you said. I was like, who's counting days?
Doesn't matter anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, our last day is going, not last day. We're probably going to continue until we find something new to
Yeah.
practice.
Until the next new moon. I like that we start on a new moon. It's perfect timing to me. And then you have like a few extra days to catch up if you started late or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're always in the flow.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this practice. I feel like it's a full body workout kind of, and it's not too difficult, I don't think. I don't know. I don't know how other people feel about it, but um I love the meditation. I That's a powerful meditation. I mean, that's one of the first ones that was given. Yeah, it. I feel like my voice is getting better through it, just through
Mhm.
hearing, just through resonating, and it's a good meditation because you have different places to focus on. So you have your attention. It's like you've got to constantly bring it back, and you can add the color of the chakras in there too. Yeah.
Yeah. And the sound is kind of like colorful too, because there are different layers to it,
Yeah.
sharp and long.
Yeah, and I agree. I think just being in sadhana and just being in this practice now with everyone for some time, I noticed that my throat, my voice is much more sure and much more expressive. And I did know for a very long time that this is an area that is difficult for me, is to kind of like say what I mean and mean what I say,
Mhm.
and speaking up. And I can speak up in when it comes to other situations or causes. When it comes to myself, sometimes I struggle with that. But whether it was the Japji and now with, chanting Echo and Kaar, the way we have, I almost feel like a depth when I'm chanting, this depth that I've never had or heard in my voice before, that is just so striking to me and surprising, because I just didn't know. I didn't know that I could do that. And it might sound, it's something to be experienced, but at the same time, all I can say is that I feel like I'm able to speak in a way that I previously couldn't. And in terms of just the heart opening, oh, just that opening up of the heart and just having things break open when they need to break open, and being comfortable with that, and being happy with that too, because it's joyful when you feel that expansion within yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to also mention about this mantra. Yeah. And like Veronica and Alice, as you said, lots of us struggle with the throat and being able to
Yeah, I
express
do
ourselves,
too.
because that is, yeah, that is something that they don't teach you in school, right? Everywhere you go, you have to be quiet. And then
Yeah.
if you want to speak, there is only like one dimension of speaking that you can do, like one short wave. And as a woman, especially, right, you
Yeah.
always need to speak kindly, beautifully, blah, blah, blah. And this one, where it's like, "Ugh," that was like, I didn't, at the first, when I was learning this meditation, I was like, I don't want to do that. that's that's too powerful. That's not me. And it just gives you that, no, you have that depth,
Mhm.
and you have that power. You can use this power. It's almost uh, like the word I'm looking for is permission, right? The permission to be powerful. I love that. And so you say that egg like so powerfully, and then you vibrate, and then sat is again so powerful.
Mhm.
And there are just so many different layers to it, that it's like the layers of our emotions and of our personalities. And that's, yeah. But then the total effect, it's totally zoned out. I'm there. I was like, "Oh, it's already 20 minutes. Like, I can't
Yeah.
believe it."
Yeah, it goes fast.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know where we go, but
Yeah. Into the ethers and our true self. I feel like that's it. It's like that's what all of this practice, and it gives us that, closeness to our truer self. It's all kinds of things can happen in life, and in the mind too, and it's like this just smooths the edges out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I definitely feel, because I can be emotional, like roller coaster and everything, and I feel like I'm not so much anymore since we started this. And that's, I feel like, also because it's more effective as a group, right? I mean, you can do something alone, but when you have that group energy, like, you're that much stronger because we're all doing it together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel calmer, and I do feel like when things happen, um, I process more and I pause more. I slow down and I allow myself to slow down. And when I notice that I'm not doing that, I'm like, oh, you're not doing that. Slow down. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I was rushing to our meeting today, right? And because I just got back home, and I said, no, I kept telling myself, you can manage it perfectly. Don't worry, don't rush. You have time for everything. And I kept telling myself this, you have time for everything. And true enough, I sat here with like 5 minutes to spare to calm myself down. That's what sadhana is doing to me.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's like it gives you more time. I think that's what the magic was. It's like you just have more time somehow. I don't know. And it's the early rising, right? Because you've given, I don't know, you've given that space for that stillness,
Mhm.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the way Yogi Bhajan said, it's like you give in 10% of your time. Ideally, you should be doing 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So that's exactly 10% of 24 hours. And you get everything back, everything you need. So
Yeah.
really interesting. Well, maybe that's something we can explore in the new year.
Yeah.
I know we are kind of busy, but doing 2.5 hour practices. We did that, right? Like in summer, we did like 2.5 hours of Oleg and Kaar or something. We
Oh
did
yeah.
Aquarian
Oh yeah.
sadhana.
For like Yogi Bhajan's birthday or something. So,
Yeah,
mm,
yeah. But I feel like with, I don't remember. You see, yeah, I don't remember. So,
yeah.
uh, what do you guys think we should do about next year and new anything? Uh,
Well, I'm definitely up for a longer practice. I
Yeah.
won't object to that, that's for sure. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I would love a longer practice. Because it is so beautiful and it is the benefits have just been unexplainable, and at the same time, very tangible. I think if you talk to people that are in my life, they probably would say that they've noticed a shift. But I would love a longer practice. I think that would be great. And just even, and we've used the word magic, just the idea of just viewing ourselves and seeing the world through that lens, because it is magical. And how do we explore that through our practices? Just as a quick example, when I go hiking, sometimes I'll stop to listen to the birds speaking to each other. And we were talking about voice before, and that really resonates with me when I hear the animals in their wildness, right? In their wildness, no one's telling them to stop. And even if someone did, they wouldn't. But it's just being in that space of magic and truth. Yeah. Anyway, and I think we do explore that anyway, but anyway, we can further that. I think that would be wonderful.
mm,
Mm,
so maybe, yeah, maybe more chanting, definitely.
mm,
Uh, yeah, like Aquarian sadhana has all these chants, and I also noticed like really big shift that happens with that, and the quality of your voice and the quality of your self-expression that happens just being yourself. Like that idea of birds doing whatever they want to do. No one is telling them, even if someone tells them to be quiet.
Yeah. It's so good to know what they were actually singing about.
But you can just tune in and listen.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they say. Like every bird has a message.
I love that. Yeah.
I feel like with our practice, I have understood a lot, like a lot of like spiritual significance behind things. Even today, we were talking about birthday cake and the candles, and when you blow it, because people are like, oh, you remember like during pandemic, they were like, don't blow the candles. And I was like, wow, but that's kind of like the purpose of it. It's not just to blow off the candles. It's like you are taking your breath and you place a wish on your breath, and that breath you send out into the ethers, right? With your wish and with a little bit of carbon or a little bit of smoke from the candles, so that the world can take care of it and bring it back to you. But for someone who, it's just blowing off candles, someone who just lives in the material world, but it came through that kind of intention, and everything in the world and in our life has like the deeper spiritual meaning to it, that I feel like the practice opens us to seeing our own purpose, right, in whatever subtle realms they exist.
And I think it's like not being so affected either by everything that's going on, in the world with all the events and everything. It's like it's still life and it's still God. It's an expression of God. We are all expressions of God and manifestations. And it's like we don't need to get caught up or bombarded. Like we are bombarded, but we don't need to be bothered by it. And I think, this practice does that. It's like, I mean, maybe you'll get bothered, but maybe it won't last as long, or that's it. It's like, to just, okay, take a moment and
Yeah. And even, I think even for those who might feel bothered, right? I think it's also what can I do, right? What can I do to support or to help, right? And not be overwhelmed by that thought and find that way and understand that is enough. What you're doing is enough. And I think that's important too. It's like allowing things to be what they are, but understanding your role within it. And I think that's really beautiful what you said, Alice. Yeah, like it's just kind of just saying, okay, it's being very pragmatic about it and understanding that this is what I can do. This is what I can offer. And I think that's pretty amazing too. Yeah.
and at the same time too, it's like at the end of Japji, we're uplifting ourselves,
Right.
and it just like ripples out. It's like that light that we've ignited in ourselves. It catches on, it spreads.
I love that. It's true.
I think that's part of why it's so important to do this. Like, we need this. The world needs this, right? And I think that, it's the best thing we can do, to make the world a better place, is to control our minds, right? To meditate, and so that our minds can't be controlled by the outside world. And we can be more godlike, I guess, because we're human, but we're also, part, what is it, part angel, part part man or woman and part
Immortal souls.
yeah. There's so many parts of us. Yeah. Yeah. It
That
helps me to
travel.
be more.
Oh, yes, that's beautiful. Another thing that I wanted, one more thing I wanted to say about this sadhana, this particular one about the radiant body. It always says that when you practice for a radiant body, things get easier. Like people will just respond to you without you even doing anything. And I'm noticing it in school actually a lot now. It's like I don't have to strive so hard. I don't have to work so hard, and like they get it,
Yeah.
or things just go smoother for whatever reason.
Mm.
Maybe it's not me, maybe not, but at least it seems to be.
Oh, no, I totally agree. I think there's a calming effect that allows you to be seen without having, like you're saying, to strive for that, to strive to be heard, to strive to be noticed. It's so interesting because I agree with that. I feel like things are falling into place without me having to stress or to be anxious about getting things done. It's more about, okay, this is what, this is what it is, or this is, there's just a level of calm. There's a level of calm I think that people notice and that resonates with people, and that they feel they want to be near that calm, especially with everything happening, right? People want that shelter, and whatever we can do to radiate that, especially through this particular practice, I do feel that being that lighthouse, right? Being the lighthouse, and allowing people to kind of feel and know that they can be within your space in that way, in a healthy way. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so much judgment going around and so much poking into other people and so much prodding into others. And it's like, if you don't do it, people are like, thank you.
Yeah.
And personally also I'm learning about how to communicate in a way that it's not as I want this done my way, but communicate in a way that leaves other an option whether to go with me or not to go with me, and it's okay, right? Like every so this is something that I'm like really implementing in my life to leave, give give an information or give my standpoint and leave an option to them whether they want to join or not to join, or what do they think. Maybe I'll change my mind at the end of the day, I don't know. And yeah, and I feel like it's more welcoming and gives a space to others. It respects them.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then you find that it does go your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes the best way, not the best way, but the universal way.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, that was nice. Anything else you guys would like to share? We'll definitely do something for the voice and for kind of like embodying our own energies and our own power.
Mm.
But even that word, like embodying our power, it's again like, oh, someone who's pushing something where it's like, that's not the way to go in 21st century, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because that like
Yeah.
pushing someone
Yeah.
creates resistance.
But I feel like that is our power is to um it just let it happen kind of thing. It's like you just put it out there and then wait for it to come to you, you know. Yeah, you don't need to struggle or fight. It's just like, yeah, you're being taken care of, just put it out there, put the effort you need, and yeah.
Yeah. And I think that just makes me think of the idea of being whole and wholeness, and that that hope that I always have for those who I not just even care about, even for people who I don't know. I want them to know that they they have everything they need. You have, like you were saying, Alice, you have everything that you need in this life. You just need to see yourself in your wholeness and holiness. And that's so important today. It's yeah, I think it's something that I reflect on a lot, is just that wish that I have for everyone to know that they are love and they are loved, even if it's not expressly happening, that the universe loves them and they can express love too. And I just, yeah, I really, and I know that through the practices that we've been engaging into, that really feels more, I feel that more. Yeah.
Yeah. And with that wholeness is also, I think you said it at the beginning, Veronica, where it's like, and even Japji says it, that you just have to accept yourself the way you are. Lots of times, the qualities we have, we don't appreciate them because we think they're not good enough or that they're somehow lacking, and that we need to change ourselves. And it's like very subtle qualities that you can become aware of and that can start fulfilling you. And you'll see that you're creating change, but it might be subtle, and your importance is very subtle, but it's definitely there. And in that way you can grow, right? Like, that's the idea of wholeness, right? Accepting yourself. If you're not accepting something, each time you are becoming less and less than you are yourself.
Yeah. And to me, that's it. It's like we're all an expression of God, and we're all individuals, and that's who you are. It's you with your qualities and your faults. And they're both gifts. Even your fault is a gift. It's
Yeah.
there for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm
To
accepting.
me, also, it's like it doesn't matter what we practice. I think it's all powerful. It's all gonna work. At this point, it's just, yeah, doesn't matter how.
Yeah. It's just that we wake up and we do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Wake up early too. It's the early part. Important, I think. Extra important anyway.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful time to be up. It's
It
just so
is.
potent and sacred. And my daughter's in college, so I do feel even more of that peacefulness during that time. When she was little, she was running around and it was still special. It was different, but now it's just this beautiful calm. It's a gorgeous time to be up, to practice.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. It's
Yeah.
very different to practice early
Yeah.
versus whenever is convenient.
Yeah. How do you feel during the day? Like, do you feel like more rushed, or how is it to practice at 10:30, Alice?
Well, I mean, it's okay because actually, I mean, it's because I've been traveling back and forth so much, so I'm still like settling in, and so I go to bed a bit late and I
Mm-hmm.
wake up a bit late. But slowly I'm gonna get back to getting up earlier. But no, I don't feel rushed. I don't. It's just that, maybe somebody will wake up and then need my help, and then so. But they know, I have an hour here that
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is what I'm doing. So
Yeah. Once you can like create a habit and create it as like, this is your space, this is your time, then it doesn't so much matter what time it is. As
yeah,
long it's like, I don't know if I share this with you guys. Joseph Campbell has that everybody should have a designated space. He talks about the space, right, in the house, mostly like a special area where you don't know what time is it, where you don't know any of your worries, where you don't have anything. And that's kind of like what sadhana is to me. Like, I wake up, I don't know, I didn't look at the phone, I don't know what's happening anywhere. I just know that I am here and you guys are here and we are doing it and we are supporting one another. And this is my space. And no one is going to disturb me in this space, in this time where I can just connect with my soul, with the soul of the world. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's a blessing for ourselves, and it's also a blessing that we kind of offer in this way to do this kind of practice. Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of everybody constantly being distracted, right? We need that energy to kind of balance that out.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean, once you start, walking and waking into the day with the world, sometimes it's like I notice more that I try not to be on my phone when I'm at work. I have to be on my computer a lot, but um, I try not to engage in it as, the phone and just the distractions as much, because I think the sadhana really, you want that feeling throughout the day. You want that peace throughout the day, when it's possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll think of what to do for the new year and new moon that will start. What kind of energies we want to embody more. If we have maybe creative projects, that was something that was kind of on my mind. So to work through resistance,
Oh yeah.
I like that.
creativity.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
anything creativity, always up for that too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so, so much for, having this wonderful chat, talking about this beautiful topic. And if anybody else wants to join us, we practice at 5:45. It might change. The time might change um, because of like when we start, but we usually end before 7.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, come and surprise yourself. What you can do. By the way, sadhana, daily practice is one of the hardest things for people to accomplish.
Mm.
Like it's a 40-day meditations and things like that. It's the hardest, but in the group, it just gets so much easier.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you miss a day here or there, just keep trying, you know. Yeah. The more you do it, the easier it'll get, and the more you'll want to do it.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think also, because we're repeating the sequences every day, I think what's interesting too is you remember them more, right? So even if you miss whatever you remember, or even if you just want to chant, do that. Do
Yeah.
whatever you need to do so that to not, and don't worry, like you said, Alice, if you miss a day, that's okay. But if you have time to do something, go for it.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So once again, thank you.
Thank
And maybe
you.
we'll do it again. Maybe we'll do like a little announcement for our next sadhana or something like
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
that. Okay. Bye bye.
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 Thank
Thank
you.